I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Cherries fans from around the world, wherever you're watching this morning for a fairly nice Tuesday morning, getting into winter and closer to Christmas. Welcome back to Cherry AM. Malcolm, welcome this morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ollie. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, a bit here this morning.
Good. Yeah,
just hovering above zero, so it's winter.
Yep. Feeling exactly the same, and it turns out we've picked very similar coats for the morning breeze, clearly.
Yeah.
Yes. So first, straight away into the chat, Darren. T minus 13 minutes to wait. Hi, Ollie and Malcolm. 27 and dark clouds approaching.
Yeah, I'd swap.
Yeah.
Hi, Daz.
Chris Hubble says, morning, up Cherries. Morning, Chris.
Yeah, morning, Chris.
Liam Humby, morning everyone, up Cherries. Morning, Liam.
Morning, Liam.
Paul Sants, good morning everyone. Morning, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Good to see you.
And I think we could probably get straight into it, can't we? I know that we've got an announcement at some point in the show. But other than that, we're going to get straight into Evan Nilsson and Krupi, aren't we? Which is quite an interesting topic, Mel.
Well, it's something you hit on. I think something was brought up on Facebook, wasn't it? So it's, I mean, if you want to start it off by going into a little bit of detail, and then I'll throw my 5 eggs in, mate.
5 eggs, blimey. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so essentially it is, I don't know how we'd disposition it. Not really Evan Nilsson versus Krupi. That's not really what this is. It's where we are now and what we're going to be looking like moving forward, and are we going to be using Evan Nilsson or Krupi more, I think is more the conversation. Now, I think given, as you said, there's a couple of shows that are due to come out, right? We've got the Andoni halftime report that's going to be coming out at some point. And then we've also got a few bits and bobs in regards to other cherry pickings. We've got some Dean Court socials coming up as well. I think is now the time that we're going to throw Matt in. No, not yet. Okay. So let's get straight into the breakdown of Evan Nilsson versus Krupi. So Evan Nilsson's obviously been out again this season due to injury. Krupi's come back in and he has really, really performed and taken over, in my opinion. He's almost gelling a bit better in the team at the moment than Evan Nilsson is. I know that that's going to be an opinion that some people disagree with, but we can't lie with what we're seeing with our eyes, right? It's more exciting football. He seems more involved. There's more goals being scored. Tell me I'm wrong here, Mal, because obviously Evan Nilsson is one of our star players, was our most expensive player at the time. He's come in. He's been an incredible striker for us. He's definitely scored some incredible goals. But how are we looking at this? What's the best way to sum this up, do you think?
I think really, it's a really big headache for Andoni, isn't it?
Yeah.
My expectations, and probably yours, are similar. We wanted to see Krupi play to see how he can perform, and he hasn't let us down. He is a different player to Evan Nielsen. Evan Nielsen, super. His work rate is phenomenal, and you can't knock him. But they're just so totally different in what they do.
Yeah, agree with that.
I think watching Krupi live was really interesting for me because he wasn't doing the same things that Evan Nielsen would do, like the forward line itself, holding up the ball.
Yeah,
Krupi was always coming a little bit more deeper, and his vision for me is excellent. You know, even if it's only a half chance, you'll go for it. Running into areas where creating possibilities or getting on the end of crosses, passes, whatever. Explosive, I would say, to describe him. He is, for me, a natural striker. He is a natural striker. Evan Nielsen, he's a workhorse.
Yeah.
I think that is the only way I can describe the two. And I'm not making comparisons here because they're both excellent players. And no matter what lineup Andoni puts out there, either Eva up front or Krupi, they both know what their jobs are, and they'll perform to the best of their ability. So, but I think with Krupi, you've got a bit more. I'm not going to look into the price tag of Evan Nielsen. They both come from different leagues. So obviously Portugal, and he was, scored loads of goals there, Evan Nielsen. Krupi, French second division, but he was finding the net, and he's finding the net in the under-21s as well for France. And obviously he's proved, in our starting lineup that he can score goals.
Yep.
It's an interesting dilemma, but I would throw Krupi in from the start. I'm not sure that both players can play at the same time.
Nope.
Because Andoni doesn't play with two strikers; he only plays with one, as do most teams. Obviously, when they're chasing games, it's a different ball game, isn't it? And you need more firepower. Then obviously he would probably do that, and chances are a bit. But I don't think so. I think Ruby would be the best start. See how it goes. But it is an interesting dilemma, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, and I just want to touch on you kind of brought up a bit of playing style comparison then.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think Evan Nielsen, you kind of have more penalty box movement, more near post runs, kind of quick finishes, Whereas I feel like with Krupi, you get more explosive, more dynamic. There's more aggression. I feel like he's attacking one-on-one a bit more than Evan Nielsen feels comfortable with. And I don't know whether that's because he's young. And it comes down to decision making, doesn't it? Like that Evan Nielsen's decision making doesn't fluctuate too much. He's an exposed player. He's an experienced player. He knows what to do in a lot of situations. I'm not saying Krupi doesn't, but it would almost appear that Krupi will be a bit more flippant with decision making. So he'll take a run, he'll take a shot, and I don't think Evan Nielsen would do that. And I think that's where it comes down to at the moment with our playing style and with the players like Adams and Scott and Semenyo, and I think Krupi fits into that team more than Evan Nielsen. It's an interesting one. It's a good problem to have. You're right, a really good problem to have. Paul Sant says, I think it depends on what other players are starting. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
The menu is out. We need a ball carrier like Evan Nielsen. Yeah, I agree with that. Paul from Oz. Hi, Ollie and Malcolm. 20 degrees and sunny here. Good to see you on the show tonight, Paul from Oz. Thanks, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Chris says, I can't believe that Alex Scott did not start for England. Yeah, well, yes.
It's an experience that he's got under his belt now. He's been in and around the camp, so he's one for the future.
Absolutely.
It would have been nice to see him get a few minutes, but I think, in the Albanian game, because they were looking to obviously score and they needed their basically top players, and the subs came on and did the job for England. It wasn't the best game, but it was just cementing what Tuchel's done, through the campaign. So I'm not disappointed in that respect because of the experience he's gained being in and around the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Echo those words. And as you said, it's only going to make it more comfortable, more easier for him next time. The more times that he does that, the more included he's going to feel, isn't he? So
yeah, definitely.
Matt says, if you can score, you will score goals at any level, and Kruppi is proving that. Yeah,
exactly.
And Dad says, in my opinion, Kruppi is a goal box poacher. Evan Nilsson plays deeper and builds an attack with the midfield. Yeah. Paul from Oz, I remember Andoni saying he wasn't worried about Ever's lack of goals. What a nice problem to have. I feel Ever's not done as well as he'd like.
Yeah.
And Matt says, I'm still a fan of Evan Nilsson. I felt he was off the ball against Villa, but still quality. It is great for the gaffer to have two different types of forward to lead the line or make an impact as sub.
Exactly, yeah.
Also said, Ever's off the ball work is fantastic. And Paul Sant said, did you see Elliot Anderson? He was fantastic. I couldn't see it at the moment. Scott would start in front of him.
No, he was actually brilliant, to be honest with you. I like him in the England side, Anderson. And I'd like to see him, cement his place there. But, wow, what a choice. What a choice they've got at the moment. It's interesting, really interesting.
Again, a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. But what I like about the setup, if you can quickly talk on that, is that Tuchel wants a team. He doesn't want individuals, and they've all got to buy into what he's doing. So, all egos and stuff like that go out the window, and they've just got to toe the line. But he's got a nice problem there with some of the choices. So, and look at those that didn't even get into the squad as well. That normally you would say, they're almost certs to get on the plane.
Yeah.
But wait up. Could be very interesting.
Yeah. Love that. Just to finish off these comments, Paul from Oz says morning Matt. Matt says morning Paul back, and then also says Anderson is in the World Cup squad for me.
Yeah, I'd agree, definitely.
Yeah, I can't not agree at the moment. I don't think there's anyone else that stands out as much as there. We've seen this kind of English football for donkey's years now, and you got to really. Sorry, I was just gonna say you got to really be different to stand out in the England team. I think nowadays, and you got to just your playing style and your character has to stand out in a different way. I think that's what certain players are doing. Go on, what were you going to say?
I'm trying to remember now. Oh God, over 60 moment here.
While you think about that, Darren says, correct me if I'm wrong, but Scott got picked and Trippier didn't. Not sure. I'm not 100% sure, Daz.
Yeah, but there are other players that weren't in the squad as well, weren't there? So,
I think so.
I think also for me, a standout player, because you were mentioning about Anderson, Declan Rice. And the way England are playing under Southgate, Sir Gareth Southgate, this sideways back passing and all that, and so it was a bit monotonous, wasn't it? Very slow. They were in the first half against Albania, but they weren't particularly quick. And I was, I think I messaged Matt at the time. I said it would have been nice, if they'd moved the ball around a bit quicker. Too many touches on the ball and everything else. Yeah, difficult side to play against. but it's a different type of game that Tuchel plays, and not all this in the England's half just passing it around. They're constantly looking for forward passes, through passes, channel runs, everything. Whether it's left or right, and they got the ability all over the field going forward. To create an awful lot during the game, which is what they never used to do too often under Southgate. Just my opinion.
Yeah. No, good opinion. Good opinion. And I think although Southgate's football wasn't the most entertaining, it's still got quite a long way to the final. So
yeah. I mean, it's horses for courses, isn't it? It was his system. He obviously knew what he was doing, and like you say, he got to a couple of finals, a semi-final. So you got to say that was quite successful.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially 3 tournaments in a row, something like that, back to back.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned before, it's the most excited I've ever been watching England. I think it's the closest we ever got in my time watching England, anyway. And it was an exciting time, but.
I'm not going to let on too much, but I did see them win a World Cup once.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. Before my time, unfortunately, now. We just about to essentially do an announcement. We're about to get Matt in now for you guys. So bear with me just a second, Mal.
Hello, everybody, and hello to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Malcolm and Ollie for letting me just pop on quickly with a quick announcement. Stay tuned to the channel, because from 9 a.m. we have a very, very special interview, and that was conducted by myself and Craig last week at the Hilton Hotel in Bournemouth, and that interview is with Jeff Mostyn, the ex-Bournemouth chairman. We discuss his book and all the stories that surround his time at the football club. So that will go live on the channel straight after Cherry AM at 9 a.m. So don't miss it. If you can't tune in after the show, then tune in later on. But yeah, it'll also be on Spotify and other platforms, as well as our YouTube channel. So yeah, our interview with Jeff Mostyn, fantastic interview. It was really, really good. So real pleasure to do that with Jeff. So guys, do tune in. But other than that, I'll hand back straight to Ollie and Malcolm.
Thanks, Matt. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome announcement. Yeah, that's it's definitely something that I'll be keeping my eye out for at 9 o'clock today. Please, everyone in the chat, go and check that out, because I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. As you heard Matt say, both of them at the Hilton Hotel in Bournemouth interviewing Jeff Mostyn.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Plan B today, then?
Hey?
Plan B today?
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to do is going to be put on the back shelf, mate. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, too right. It's I'm gonna have to have it in the background, I think, while I work. But look, I don't want to finish just now. I do want to come back, because I'd want to carry on just discussing for maybe another 10 minutes Evan Nilsson and Krupi.
Please do.
Because there's a couple of little bits and bobs I want to run past you. I think I kind of mentioned it a couple of minutes ago in regards to seniority between Evan Nilsson and Krupi. I think it's important to recognise, obviously, Evan Nilsson's still the senior number 9, and the reference point up top when fit, and I understand, obviously, bear in mind last season he had a number of games where he wasn't fit. This season already, number of games where he wasn't fit. How many times do we take a main player out of the game and harness results, and then put that player back in and try and harness the same results? Because I feel like we did it last season as well. Evan Nilsson came out of the squad. We really relied on our squad depth a little bit. We started to have We've started to win games, go into an unbeaten session of games. And then Evan Nilsson came back. Whole squad had to be changed again to fit in for him a little bit. And we weren't winning as many games. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to bring it up too much for this season already, but Krupi has had his input. And, you've got to openly praise his finishing, his composure, just his aggression on the pitch. Like, everything about him at the moment is fitting in perfectly with what we want to do. Evan Nilsson doesn't give that. He doesn't bring that. So what's the middle ground here, Mal? How can we have an impact from both these players without playing both of them at the same time? Because we know Areola won't. What's the answer here?
Obviously, it depends firstly on the opposition who you're playing, and then the starting lineup. We know what we get from Eva every game. Hard work. Whether it's right, left, centre, whatever, it doesn't matter. We know what he can do. If he's not fed the ball, not given the opportunity to have chances, then it can be quite difficult for him. But I think a lot of people basically just continually looking at stats all the time, which is, I think it's a little bit unfair, because some things do go missing. Not every, you can't rely just on stats. I think you really do have to maybe look back at games, even if it's only snippets, and see what they're doing. It's difficult. Start with Eva. Krupi will always perform, in my view. My personal opinion, I'd like to see him start. But if things aren't working, you have to change up. It doesn't necessarily mean drop one or the other completely. It's a question of what is best for the team.
Yep.
And the system that Andoni's putting in. Obviously, like I said, depending on opposition. It's a really, really tricky one. Bearing in mind, you're looking for somebody to put the ball in the net, basically. I know we got goals from other areas, we can chip in all over the field, more or less, with goals. But it's actually having, this reliable striker who can find the net on a regular basis.
Yep.
And at the moment, Krupi is the man who can do that. But I'm not Andoni, so I'm, it is all opinionated. Obviously, I'd like to see or hear, what the people in the chat think. Should Andoni say, look, enough's enough, we're going to start with Krupi now and leave Eva on the bench? Or vice versa?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, my concern is are they looking at Krupi as a potential star asset, or are they looking at him as a young investment to grow and sell? I think that's my concern, is because if we're looking at him as a potential star asset to be our main striker, then I think everything that we're doing and building is perfect. It couldn't be more perfect, could it? You give him his drop-in minutes, he performs, he comes out of the squad, you put your regular striker back in. You continue to do that over the space of a season. Excuse me. He's just going to get better and better, more exposed to the Premier League game, more minutes on the pitch, and eventually you'd like to think that he starts eating into Evan Nilsson's minutes and maybe it takes over the role in a season or two. Or is that not the case? And we build him up to a position where he's like a Dino or a Zabs, and
I mean, it's his potential is way up, isn't it? I'm really happy to see him playing. First of all, I mean, it's just a start for him here with us. Can you imagine if he ends up being our top goal scorer?
I can, actually. I know that sounds weird. I can imagine it.
Obviously we can't see into the future, but possibilities are there, aren't they?
I can see him if he gets the time accredited to him on that pitch for Bournemouth, he will continue to perform. I think he will continue to perform. He'll continue to grab those minutes like they're, air. He's going to live off it. He's going to be wanting to play every single possible chance. And he's going to want to score every single possible chance. I think that hunger at the age that Krupi's at is only going to build and develop and get better. Super, super exciting.
Just run through that, mate.
Selection time, there'll be some big names that may miss out. Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Cherry picking and only halftime part 2 out Thursday morning at 9 a.m. after Cherry AM. Part 3 soon to follow.
Wow.
Chris Hubble says, looking forward to seeing that, Matt. Paul says, I think Eva is like Solanke and Krupi is similar to Wilson. Who would have started Wilson or Solanke? Who would you have started, Wilson or Solanke? Yeah, great shout.
Yeah, it's a similar problem, isn't it?
It is a similar problem, yeah, and it's a very good comparison because, again, I'm not sure who I'd start, Solanke or Wilson. And it depends who we're playing and who else is on the pitch.
I mean, on the downside, we just throw it out there, what if he ends up being top goal scorer this season? He'll have a marker on his head already, wouldn't he?
Yep, he will, yeah.
So we'll watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I think I may have said this about Jimenez. I think there's certain players I see that would jump, that would make the move too early, that may not outlive their career at Bournemouth for certain reasons, whether that be money or top 6 club or European football or whatever it is. There's some players that would jump at that, I think, immediately. And my concern is that Krupi could be one of those players. It's still very, very early in his career. If he gets, that almost little boy in a sweet shop, right? Where he's getting all the attention, everyone's calling him the best striker in the Prem, blah, 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 and he's got an offer from Arsenal, PSG, and whoever else. He could go at 20 years old. I could see that happening. However, I can't see that with Semenyo, for example, Evan Nilsson. They're almost settled players. They've got a plan for their next 5 years. They're a bit more senior in their life goals and where they want to get to. Krupi's 19. If he wants to jump and disappear into the Spanish league or the Italian league or the French league, he probably could very easily and very quickly.
I think he wants to prove himself in the Premier League, doesn't he?
I mean, it'd be lovely if he sticks around. It really would. It'd be lovely if he sticks around and cements himself. That would be ideal.
Because that's where he's obviously going to make it.
Yes, yeah. Well, we know that, Mal, but I mean, why do we see players leave the Premier League if that's such a well-known fact, Daz says, at Bournemouth, we are not set up like City with Erling Haaland, who is number 1 outlet for goal opportunities. Stats don't mean anything. Evan Nilsson is a workhorse who is selfless and is strong on the ball. And will grow and develop and will score, no doubt. Absolutely.
He'll knock in a few more.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
That's a great point, Paul, says Paul from Oz. Sean says definitely start Wilson over Solanke in their prime. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't disagree either.
And Paul from Oz, Krupi at his age can run all day. Excuse me. I feel he will run the legs off defenders for 1 hour, then bring on Eva to take advantage of the defence. Again, that's not the worst idea. It uses both players, both strikers. It gives them both minutes. It's tactically pleasing, I guess, if you think about that from who we've got on the bench and on the pitch. So, yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all.
At the end of the day, it's about the team and not individuals, isn't it? So, if they're not in the starting 11, they've got to take it on the chin. It doesn't mean to say that they're poor or that their levels have dropped or whatever. they will get minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in conclusion for me, and Krupi's kind of finishing and composure is really standing out and has done this season so far with the goals that he scored.
Yeah.
I think Evan Nielsen, we've got that typical situation where you've got a prolific, experienced striker up against the newbie in town coming in and running the legs off, and all that's got to happen, Evan Nielsen's got to slot a goal away. The minute he gets a goal again, I think he'll continue to then get more goals and get better and feel more comfortable on the pitch and start performing again. But until that point, he's got some competition, isn't he? And
he certainly has, yeah.
He's going to have to perform, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was an interesting point to bring up this morning. It's something we wanted to sort of chat about. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously with internationals at the weekend, lack of information and news. So we won't be on tomorrow, but we will be back on Thursday morning for our regular Thursday updates for the game coming this weekend, which is West Ham.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, starting lineups and score predictions. So get your thinking caps on, everybody, and join in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be an interesting one. Should be an interesting one.
It will indeed. And please do again, let me reiterate, 9 a.m. this morning after this show, Jeff Mostyn interview with Matt and Craig at the Hilton Hotel. Please do go and feast your eyes on that this morning. Mal, if there's anything else from you, my friend.
I don't think so at this moment. Nearly time for another coffee before the next video comes out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect timing, mate.
Great to see you again, mate. And thanks everybody in the chat for joining us this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Or this afternoon or evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Thursday morning. And me
Mal,
too. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you later, actually, won't I?
I think you will. Okay.
Cheers, Mal. Up the cherries.
Up the cherries.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.